You're going to watch a World Cup match this week. 2 billion other people will too. The whole thing is run from a building in Zurich. The organization there takes in $14 billion every 4 years. It started 122 years ago. 7 small European federations. In the back room of a sports office in Paris. England, who invented the game, refused to run it. This is the story of how that happened. Not the story of FIFA's corruption. You've probably heard that one. The real story is older. And weirder. A quiet meeting between 7 small federations. A war that nearly killed it. A French lawyer who saved it. A Brazilian outsider who seized it. A German shoe heir who taught it how to make money. By the end, you'll see why every Adidas logo on every World Cup ball traces back to a single decision in 1974, and why the most documented corruption case in sports history left FIFA itself legally classified as the victim. For the first half-century after the modern rules of football were written down in 1863, the English ran it. The Football Association in London was the only meaningful authority. They invented the offside rule. They invented the corner kick. They organized the world's first real league. Most international matches happened between the 4 British home nations: England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland. That was enough. But the game was spreading. Sailors brought it to ports. Merchants brought it inland. By the early 1900s, Belgium, Denmark, France, the Netherlands, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland all had their own football federations. And they had a problem. They wanted to play each other, but there was no central authority, no agreed-on rules between countries, no tournament schedule. Every international match had to be arranged one at a time. The continentals went to the English. They asked the Football Association to set up a world body. Lord Kinnaird, the FA president, said no. The British already had each other. They had their own home championship. They didn't need a world body, so they declined to run it. The Continentals decided to go without them. On May 21, 1904, 7 federations sent representatives to a back room at 229 Rue Saint-Honoré in Paris. In that room, they wrote 3 rules. Only 1 football association per country. Members would play under shared laws of the game, and the body would organize a world tournament. They called it the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, FIFA. Germany joined the same day, by telegram. FIFA's first decade was small. By 1914, it had grown from 7 federations to about 20. Then the war came. The founding president died in 1918. The British nations quit because they refused to play their wartime enemies. A Dutch administrator kept FIFA alive single-handedly out of his Amsterdam office. FIFA almost dissolved. Then, a French lawyer named Jules Rimet took over. He would hold the job for 33 years. The modern World Cup exists because of him. Rimet's biggest move came in 1928. At a congress in Amsterdam, he proposed something new. FIFA would hold its own world championship, separate from the Olympics, open to professionals. The vote passed. The next year, they picked the host, Uruguay. The country was celebrating the centenary of its constitution. It had also just won Olympic football gold twice in a row. Then they hit a problem they couldn't solve. Uruguay is in South America. In 1930, the trip from Europe took 14 days by boat. The Great Depression had just started. Federations didn't want to send their players away for 2 months. By the entry deadline, February 28, 1930, 0 European teams had signed up. So Rimet started making personal calls. France, he asked directly. They said yes. Belgium agreed through a vice president. Romania agreed because King Carol II personally selected the squad. He had just been crowned. He even negotiated with the players' employers, guaranteeing their jobs back when they returned.
Yes!
Yugoslavia committed last. They took a separate ship. Stop. Think about what's already in motion. A polite refusal from the English. A French lawyer holding the thing together through a world war. A king picking a national football squad himself. One man rescuing the first World Cup by making phone calls. Everything that comes next runs through this. An Italian steamer called the SS Conte Verde sailed from Genoa on June 21st. On board, 3 European teams, 3 European referees, and Jules Rimet himself, with the trophy in his suitcase. Egypt, the only African entry, missed the ship. A storm in the Mediterranean delayed them. The Conte Verde left without them. The Brazilians were picked up in Rio. The ship arrived in Montevideo on July 4th. 9 days later, the first World Cup kicked off. 13 teams. All matches played in one city. On July 30th, Uruguay beat Argentina 4-2 in front of 80,000 people. Rimet handed the trophy to the head of the Uruguayan Federation. The next day was a national holiday in Uruguay. Look at what just happened. One French lawyer kept his sport alive through a war. He invented the World Cup. He carried the trophy to Uruguay in his suitcase. The most powerful sports body on earth still exists because of that. It just took another 44 years for someone to figure out how to make it rich. For the next 40 years, FIFA stayed small, sleepy, run mostly out of Zurich on member dues. An English president named Sir Stanley Rouse took over in the 60s. Football kept growing. FIFA itself didn't really change. Until 1974. 1974. Helsinki. The FIFA Congress meets to elect a new president. Rouse's challenger is João Havelange, a Brazilian businessman. He runs on a platform of more World Cup slots, more money for the developing world, more votes for non-European federations. He wins. Modern FIFA is the organization Havelange built. In the room is Horst Dassler, son of the man who founded Adidas. Dassler had spent the months before the election trying to keep Rouse in place. He failed. Within weeks, he switched sides. What he did next built modern sports sponsorship. He hired a 20-something British PR man named Patrick Nally to figure out how to make money for FIFA. Years later, Nally explained the logic plainly. Horst wanted to fund Havelange's promises, but he didn't control Adidas's marketing budget. That belonged to his family in Germany. So if he could find another way to fund Havelange's projects, he could control Havelange. Pay the man, then you own the man. It took Nally 18 months. In 1978, Coca-Cola signed the first global sponsorship deal in sports history. $8 million. Exclusive worldwide rights to the World Cup in Argentina. Every megasport sponsorship deal that exists today is descended from that contract. The Olympics, Formula One, the Premier League, the NFL International Package, all of it runs through that 1978 contract. A young Swiss marketer named Sepp Blatter started at FIFA the same year. He'll be president in 20 years. For the next 20 years, a company Dassler founded handled FIFA's commercial rights. It was called ISL. ISL paid personal kickbacks to Havelange, to members of the FIFA Executive Committee, millions of dollars over 2 decades. This was not a side effect. This was the business model. In 2001, ISL collapsed. The forensic accounting revealed the kickback chain. It should have ended FIFA's commercial empire. It didn't. 14 more years passed. May 27, 2015. Swiss police walked into the Bauer au Lac Hotel in Zurich at dawn. 7 FIFA officials were arrested before breakfast. The FBI unsealed a 161-page indictment in New York. 14 people charged. $150 million in bribes. The IRS chief delivered the line to the press. This is the World Cup of fraud, and today we're issuing FIFA a red card. Sepp Blatter, by now FIFA's president for nearly 2 decades, was re-elected 2 days later. He resigned 2 days after that. Here's the strange part. FIFA wasn't charged. The US law the prosecutors used was called Honest Services Wire Fraud. It required a victim. Legally, they had to call FIFA the victim of its own officials. The organization came out of 2015 institutionally intact. Blatter's deputy replaced him. A Swiss lawyer named Gianni Infantino. He's still there. He was paid about $16 million in salary last year, with an $8 million bonus on top. The 4-year cycle keeps running. The current cycle is on track for over $13 billion in revenue. The next cycle is projected at $14 billion. The World Cup you're watching this summer is the biggest ever. 48 teams instead of 32, 104 matches instead of 64. The first ever co-hosted by 3 countries. FIFA has 211 member federations. The United Nations has 193. The room in Paris had 7. Tonight there's a match. You'll watch some of it. You won't think about the Paris office. You won't think about the trophy in the suitcase. You won't think about the Coca-Cola deal or the Dawn raid at the Bauer Al Lac. But the whole chain ran through your screen. The kid at your local youth league, the Adidas logo on the ball, the Panini sticker, the price of the ticket, the fact that the most powerful sports body on earth has more members than the United Nations, and the same Swiss postcode. It started in a room above a French sports office. 7 federations, no English, and it's still running.
Subscribe to my channel.